Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too, man. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Really good to meet up. Yeah, I mean, obviously we met each other. We know each other from real life, from meeting at the
Oh yeah.
Ordea. So it's
Oh yeah,
good.
that was pretty cool. Pretty cool, man.
So yeah, that's to introduce people to Matt, to my channel.
How's
Basically
everyone
a
going?
shoegazer friend who he's always at the Ordea in Dalston,
Yeah,
Victoria.
it's pretty. I think this year's one's gone so great. It's been really amazing, to be honest with you. It's full of energy. It feels quite energy, a lot of energy going through it. I felt like it was just probably the first time I didn't drink, really, to be honest, since giving up drinking last year. That was pretty, it made significant differences, I think.
I can imagine. Yeah. I mean, I don't really drink that often anyway, not as much as I used to. And yeah, it is. You don't really need it, no.
No.
uh, that's good, man.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of there's a I think I do come across your channel quite a lot alongside with a lot of other shoegaze channels or shoegaze element channels I've seen quite a bit through recent months, like YouTube channel called Banana Labs, really good. If you ever stumbled across that, that's
I
really
think
good if you
so.
want to
Mm.
pretty good. And I think think the guy does it is trying to incorporate good songs into shoegaze stuff. It's pretty worth checking out for. It's really good
Oh yeah,
stuff.
I think I've seen that. Like, how would commercial number one hit sound if they were
Yeah,
shoegazified?
yeah. There's a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff on there. I think that's probably a good hidden gem. I mean, you got the Shoegazer channel. Also, Shoegazer is in Kenneth.
Kenneth
Yeah, you
Estrada.
Uncanny Valley. Yeah, Uncanny Valley. Great. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to effects pedals and
Yeah.
that kind of production side of it. His music's actually pretty good. Actually, I actually
Mm.
listened to his other stuff like his his former project, Downhill Widow. That
That, I
was
was
pretty good.
about to say Downhill Willows. Yeah, they did a really good song called Machines. I've been listening to that one a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, same. I've actually time I heard it was pretty mesmerized by that track. It was
Yeah.
uh, recently I just came across it again. I started listening to it again. It was just
Yeah,
the
same
lyrics.
with me, man. Yeah, I sort of just randomly got reminded of it, and I checked it out again.
Yeah,
And yeah, yeah, you're right. The lyrics are good, and yeah, it's good to hear a shoegaze song. I like it when you can hear the lyrics as well. Like I kind of like all of the different approaches. I think that's why I like the genre so much. Really, I think there's so many ways you can twist it.
mm.
You can really have a distinction in it. You can distinguish yourself from other bands quite easily, actually.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
Right. Sorry.
I was saying back in maybe a long time ago, I was probably one of the only guys that was listening to that the style of music, shoegaze and dream pop, mostly MBV to ride to the newer bands of that time, like My Vitriol and Amusement Parks on Fire and all that.
Mm.
But in my hometown, it was mostly like punk, metal, hardcore, and some of the pop punk
Yeah.
stuff. And it was them, and then it was myself, kind of a bit of a standout from that. And it was very hard to form bands, though. I mean, and still is, probably still is to this day. You just got to try and think we all got to try and find the right components to get the that sound of music, to get it in there. And but I also think other adding other elements to music like that. I always think a lot of the noise rock stuff that I'm really big with.
Mm.
Mets, the old stuff like Big Black to Fugazi and all that. I always think that's kind of
Or chorus.
a lot of shoegaze stuff as well as uh, experimental bands. Really,
Yeah.
also going to '60s psych and
Mm.
a lot of revival. I think it all blends into other genres these days, shoegaze. It's kind of connected to metal fans, punk fans, hardcore fans, to I think electronic fans out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's a really good thing, and yeah, I definitely know why. I think because of because the everyone's using DAWs, aren't they, on their computers, and it's so easy just to meddle with effects. So
Yeah.
that's probably one big reason why you can apply it to all sorts.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good thing I got those got myself those multi stomp boxes, those MS 50G and MS 70 CDR. They're really good multi effects pedals. I've got
That's the
definitely
Zoom, isn't it?
yeah, really
Mm.
good for shoegaze. They're actually reissuing. They're actually releasing, updating them actually to pluses. It would
Wow.
be nice to get my hands on one of them at some stage, as well as the soft focus deluxe. That's something I want to look into.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that as well. There's like a new special edition of the soft focus, which
Yeah.
and it's like longer, more wide, isn't it?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I think it's
I was quite disappointed though because I just spent a lot of money on the original.
yeah.
Um,
I also did spend that. I don't really like the soft focus that I've got because it actually is a gateway for separation. If you want to add other effects pedals, that's the way I've seen it. But I
yeah.
mean, I always think maybe get it at some stage, but put it on a separate pedal board and see what happens from there. You know,
Mm.
adding a few preamps and all that. I always think that's a really good way to blow that into proportion. I've always felt that soft focus deluxe does look much more like a unique concept of like longer reverb trials, I do believe, and little bit more modulation, like almost like pitch bending.
Yeah, it does have that quality to it. There is a pitch, I think, within the soft focus patch, even on the original, the FX 500.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like a pitch modulation as part of it.
Yeah.
I think
Also got
composed of like chorus, flanger, reverb, delay, and
yeah.
I said pitch already, didn't I? I think.
Oh yeah, the Yamaha first one, the FX 500, the Patch 40 did. I do believe the delay was apparently it was hard to get it on like the timing that you need
Yeah,
to make keep up. But
yeah.
glad
When I
Catling
bought it from when I bought the FX40 Catlin Bread from Andertons, I think it said that I watched a video and they said that they couldn't quite the delay or something. They couldn't fit it into such a small unit.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
so,
think that's why we got other delay pedals with it alongside with that.
yeah.
Like
So, but yeah,
that
that
could
just
work really well.
compensates.
Mm. Also, the shimmer's pretty good on there. That's actually something that Catlin Bread add on to, almost like other reverb pedals, but they did it much better and much more unique. I found it.
More of
I always find it
the TC Electronic Hall of Fame kind of shimmer.
yeah, something like that. I do believe it was it's another effects pedal that almost have that shimmer modulation side of reverb. It's a Blue Sky, that's the one.
Yeah,
Blue Sky.
yeah, Strymon,
Mm,
definitely.
very
Yeah,
good.
I've been looking at that Cloudburst pedal, which is like quite a small reverb pedal that Strymon do, and it seems to have like the full package in a smaller unit. So that might be
Yeah,
worth looking at.
definitely. I
But
think that's.
£150 as well. I think it's like much cheaper. I think than the Big Sky and Blue Sky.
I recently got myself a Digifurb by Digitech. Real good, actually. It's a really good gated reverb section, which I really liked. I've been
Yeah,
jamming on to actually alongside with my Russian Big Muff that I've brought a few months ago. That was
cool.
never got along with any form of like Russian Big Muff. So I think since buying it, I actually felt like it's so much more unique than original. And it's not in the army kind
Possibly.
of like one of those metal boxes. And they
Yeah,
reissued. Glad they reissued it now. I'm really happy, stoked about that.
yeah. It used
Definitely
to
some.
look like a mine or something, didn't it? Like a bomb.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like I'm glad. Also, the op amp's really good. The Big Muff op amp
Mm.
is quite good for that. I mean, both great Big Muff pedals, kind of grungy. If you want that
Yeah.
grungy texture into it, or just get what you want. Really, I think that's pretty the bigger way to get yourself like that kind of effects pedal to make shoegaze. I think that's.
Mm.
I thought about getting that Fender, that not Fender, and thought about getting this Behringer Fuzz Bender To be honest, I thought to myself, I'll stick with the muffs though. That's the thing. It's stick to the big muff section because I've always thought it had more sustain. Because
Yeah.
had that sustain knob, like you can just
Mm. That is really
almost like
cool. Yeah.
it's quite drony and that style of. And then if you wanted like try and get more, I think the fuzz section, I think might as well get yourself a rat or something. That's a very good way to have a fuzz pedal. So between the op amp distortions and
Yeah,
you
that's like
kind of get the
a the
best of
rat. The rat is what I use most of the time. It's what I had on my board when I was playing with Breather.
yeah.
So that's been my main distortion.
Mhm.
And you're right. It's kind of like it's a distortion that can go into a fuzzy tone if you want it to, just by messing with the filter knob.
Yeah.
You can actually get into fuzz territory. Definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So whatever happened to Breeder? Mind if I don't
Uh,
mind asking. If you don't want to talk about it, it's cool. It's
oh, I
just didn't.
don't. No, I don't mind. It's fine. I can talk about it. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I was never really, that peed off, when I got kicked out, but so I don't mind too much. It's just one of those things where
Mm-hmm.
um, they just wanted to carry on as a four piece, and I think I just didn't quite fit in the end. I think Josh wanted to be a bit heavier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, although I was kind of compromising already. I mean, I wouldn't have minded going in the heavier direction. I mean, I could have tried, but I don't know. I think my vision was too powerful. That was one of the things. Like I wanted to make it more shoegazy, really. And they kept on telling me to turn down and stuff because my style, the thing with shoegaze is that you need the volume there. I think to really get the best out of the pedals and to create an experience for the audience and yourself. It's about being loud and volume wise, which is what that rants video was about actually that I made a couple of months ago,
Oh yeah, I saw that.
which got misinterpreted actually because I wasn't saying that no modern shoegaze bands are good. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
that at all. I wasn't criticizing the bands. I was just
Yeah,
saying that live sound engineers they could do with turning it up and not
they could gave you a bit more
compromising.
help. Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, when I sort of jammed with a few people that we had some ideas, they just wanted to go more grunge direction, which is fair enough. But I think they said you're good what you do, but we just want to go to that direction. And
Mm,
this was probably about trying to jam with some people that thought we had a bit of chemistry, but it turns out they just wanted to go grungy and this and that, and they said your stuff is good, but we like your music and all that, but I just don't think we just don't want it in the band at the moment. So I get where you're coming from because it
so
is
we
very
kind
hard to
of
incorporate
had
those elements.
the same circumstances for both of
Yeah,
us then.
definitely. I didn't really feel like I felt like I just needed to continue with Under the Sun. Definitely something
Mm,
that I've been going on for a couple of years now, 5 years nearly. Sort of started with the Doors, with the Dawn stuff,
I,
thank you BandLab and all that. But also as time went on, I started to use more like the model cycles, which I got right in front of me actually. The samples. So I've been working on those electronic elements of
yeah.
the project. So I've been doing that. Record. I have got some new music coming up, but I'm still in the process of trying to add a few more tracks into this album, and hopefully once I start trying to get the money together on it, I will start putting it out there and see what happens from there. It'll be good to get
Mm,
this new music batch of new material out this year. It's been quite busy over the last year. I couldn't really do it as much due to finding a new label is a real struggle. Trying to get something on 91 would have been great, but unfortunately, they
mm,
just didn't seem quite interested in that style of music, that fusion,
yeah.
whether it's shoegaze or not.
Yeah,
I
that's
figured that was sorry.
Nick Noble, isn't it? And
Mhm.
John Welby. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Carry on. I kind of interrupted there.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, I think I don't know if anyone heard of this controversial of John Welby. thinking, I think someone tried him. I don't know if it's true or not. They thought he was being a bit strange to some other bands, but I don't know if that's a rumor or not. But I
He-
thought I talked to Yogi, and it seems like there've been some. I don't know if it's like miscommunications or just been some like stupid politics as usual. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's a bit
Yeah, not
strange
sure.
precautions,
Y-
controversials.
Yeah, I worked with John actually. We were on the phone almost every day when he was mixing. Well, I wanted him to master a bunch of songs that I did. This was like pre-breather when it was
Hmm.
just like me and this other guy called Josh. Um, and I wanted him to master it and stuff. So I've got lots of demos just sat on my computer here that are mastered by John Welby, and he kind of mixed it as well because he was sending it back and forth so much that he pretty much mixed a lot of it. Because we realized I made a lot of mixing mistakes, so he pretty much did lots of it. So I've got those backup songs that might come out at some point. I mean, I'm in my last year of the music production course at DBS Music in Plymouth, and I'm making the EP as well as the book, which I'm
Yeah,
sure we'll talk about the book in a little while as well.
yeah, that's
Yeah, so I need to say
I think
thanks for the images for that as well,
oh,
mates.
no worries, man. It's pretty cool. I think it's good just to let everyone know. For like, it's always good to credit them, but I always think let them also know like it's just for your college project. I always sort of got everyone's like try to think who could get involved in this project. But it'd be good to ask people who are in that shoegaze world that know what they're doing and know if anyone knows from America, Australia to other places that would be quite interested. I think it's always great to put it out there and see what can you get. Really, it's
Yeah.
yeah. I think
So some of them were like they wanted money for some of them. Like someone had he was a professional guy who takes pictures for a variety of bands, and he had MBV and medicine photos I was interested in, and then he said, "Oh, I want more than just the mere credits. I want some money for this." So decided not to get embroiled into that.
hmm
I
yeah.
don't want to get embroiled to any contract where
Mm,
it's going to cost me hundreds of
yeah.
pounds just for
Yeah,
images.
I think it's hard to get production videos into that opportunity. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think when you want like people like pedal partners, for example, they make great visuals while doing their
Yeah,
pedal demonstrations.
I'm
But
very jealous of
unfortunately,
Luca. Yeah, I wish
yeah,
I could
but
do that for my
unfortunately,
channel a bit more. Yeah.
same. I, I wish I could do those visuals, but unfortunately, when I asked them about that, they sort of asked for lots of money that to be like I'm talking about. Not really sure. It was like $1,500 something
Phew,
silly, bit pricey.
wow, wow.
It's like, whoa, why? It's like,
Yeah,
aren't you guys like, don't you want to make it like I for a budget? Because Tilden was on a budget, and unfortunately, I had to make my own. Because I think at the end of the day, I don't know if it's the the equipment they're using. I don't know, but the thing is, I always think some of these people who ask for so much money out of it. It's like that's a bit greedy.
yeah. There's
It's
a
like,
bit of ego about it, perhaps.
it's
Yeah.
like well, you guys are like doing shoegaze music. I mean, it's not, we're not really making a lot of money out of it.
No, no.
Just playing for something that we just enjoy,
Yeah,
strumming our chords while making a little bit more abstract in our music.
yeah. I mean, that's it. It's a genre that we should all be supporting each other in it, definitely, because none of us are breaking out into the mainstream. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would be nice to get. So,
none of us are on a label that can do stuff for us anymore. There's no creation or
yeah,
4AD anymore. But I mean, well, Sonic Cathedral would be very good to get on. They're probably
yeah,
the best. And was it
pretty cool.
Fierce Panda you mentioned to me,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Fierce Panda would be a good one. But they do put a lot of generic indie stuff, but it's worth going for. Or even Northern Star, if Scott Causer continued. But he's practicing, does his project Cult of Free Love, which is a really good project. He was the one that sort of really kind of started 93 Million Miles in the Sun, really. by putting them on the Northern Star compilation, because I've got
Mm.
a few of their compilations. Also, alongside Club AC30 would
Yeah,
have been a great label to jump onto.
yeah. Saint Marie Records.
Hmm.
They're another one.
Yep.
Mm.
Let's see. Neolight was really good. Neosci, I think it was called Neolight. It's an
Yeah.
American shoegaze label. It's really,
You got Shore Dive as well. Nico
yeah,
Beatastic
Nico's
down in
could
Brighton
on.
doing a really good job.
Yeah, I actually did put quite a few of my stuff on there actually on Shore Dive actually not too long
Yeah,
ago.
nice.
Um, so hopefully
Okay,
might put the new release once I get the new tracks together. Definitely put it on. Definitely release it under the label again, under his label again. That'd be great.
sure. Yeah, yeah. I will. I will definitely listen to a lot more of your stuff. I do check it time to time. From time to
Yeah,
time, I do. I like that live video of you playing in Ipswich in some pub, and
yeah,
you're really cranking it, and there's like some people went whoa or something like that when you engage the effect. Someone went whoa in the crowd or something,
yeah,
like they were getting spooked by it.
yeah. Oh man,
Yeah,
some people just get overwhelmed by it. I think it's
yeah.
also I try not to overwhelm the for you when it comes to like these effects pedals, because I kind of want to keep it like keep the noise out of it, but not to go too harsh on it, but also try and keep a bit of a pop melody going on or pop
Mm.
structure.
Being a
It's
being a solo artist, it's hard
yeah,
to do it all, isn't it? You have to make some kind of compromise to if you want
yeah,
that. Do you use like a loop pedal? Do you? Because you could,
yeah. Got a little looper,
yeah.
uh, little one of those £50 ones actually, which is like the Leaky Toe loop station. It's a pretty good small pedal.
Okay.
It has 10 loops on there. You can loop
Cool.
it pretty well, drone it.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
it actually is worth buying actually. It's you can also just put it on your computer, USB, put USB, put it on your computer, you get the looping tracks on there and you put it on your door to make
Incredible.
something out of it. Yeah,
Yeah, I really love that idea. A bit like the tone print from TC Electronic. The way
definitely.
you can Bluetooth, can't you? Certain
Yeah.
player session
Hmm.
settings
Yeah.
straight to the pedal.
Well, this one, yeah. I think they do a Zoom one like that. Actually, they do a kind of a Bluetooth effects pedal by Zoom. It's something that's I never really use a lot of Bluetooth though. I'm more of just trying to be a bit more analog with my
Yeah.
effects pedals than too much digital. I don't mind digital delays and digital reverbs on there, but I'm more of a when it comes to I do use the analog effects like more the fuzzes stay in the muffs, distortions are more on an analog situation. But I also
Yeah.
think when I start to use the groove boxes, the models, samples, and cycles, I start to because I like to keep it a little more analog than all digital audio workstations and trying to
Yeah.
be a bit more. And even like when I trying to get things, trying to like incorporate that, but not to get too AI into that stuff. I'm trying not to be kind of digital robotic. Just try to keep it almost like even it's been done before, like the Stereo Labs or but I also just enjoy it because I like it, and I'm not really trying to rip anything off. I'm just trying to enjoy that style of music to myself. Each to
Yeah,
their own.
really cool. I'm just trying to show you the Elise's some analog gear I got here. That mini
Wow,
outboard gear, is a compressor and a nano verb.
wow, that's beautiful, man.
Just trying
That
to, having a bit of trouble turning it around because it's got all the cables in it and stuff.
oh yeah, okay,
Link them together, and you got. I link them together, so I've got the
amazing.
compressor affecting the
Wow,
reverb, and you can do some weird thing where you can push the compression so hard that it distorts, and you get a very powerful distortion from the reverb. You can just push it into clipping, and it can be a good effect actually if you
yeah,
subtly put it in the background of a mix.
yeah. I also do for vocals. I have actually been experimenting with this effects pedal, the VE vocal echo that I use for vocals.
Really good. Yeah.
It's really beautiful. It's actually changed my ways of vocals really, because I'm not really much of a lyricist. But when I turn it on, you become a bit more like a lot of the lyrics don't matter really. You've seen more of the reverb, inferior soundings going on with the vocals. So
Yeah.
that's probably one of the Gears samples I've got. Mostly, mostly the gears that I've used is Fender Jaguar, well, Jagger and Jazzmaster on my guitar cases, which
Yeah.
I would like to get them out on the next stage. But this is one of the stuff that I use for Groovebox drum machine. But mostly I
Nice.
use it for drones and oscillations. Sometimes samples are really good with that. This is very ambient stuff. I really think anyone who's starting out to make electronic music or experimental, it's definitely worth buying for it. I
Really good.
paid a lot of money out of it actually. It's Model Cycles by Electron. Really wanted to get their Digitalk one, but that's a very expensive product to buy. That's why I brought those because they're so easier to do.
Mm.
Plus, I think you get a lot of LFOs and a lot of modulations. You also get pitch bending on it and sweeps, and also it's almost like Euro racks, like almost like
Yeah.
a mini Euro rack, really. That you don't need to spend a ton of money to get all the Euro rack gear out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always a disadvantage of that stuff. So
Yeah,
that's really good if it can compact that stuff down.
oh,
Um,
definitely. I've actually got myself a little mixer for performing. Gave it a couple of sprays and cleans, but this is another thing I've used. Mixer for my own little mixer for the guitar. Mostly it's for guitar and the synths and the backing tracks I've used, and sometimes use the headphones. That's a really good. I get to control what I do. Vocals I keep separately. If it would be nice to get a better mixer for the vocals, add the vocals with it, so it gives it a little bit more.
mm.
You actually got your own thing. I actually kind of experimenting recording much more with the mixer as well as the audio interface and see where that's going from. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be working on that a little, get some time and do it. So that'll be
It's
great.
always worth experimenting with the preamps slash interfaces to see what's
Definitely.
better, the mixer or your interface. Yeah. So what are you finding? Is the mixer better, do you think?
I think if I find the mixer much better actually. I think the
Yeah.
experimentation of it, I think you are choosing your EQs out of it
Mm.
and you're trimming some of the stuff out in there.
Yeah, that's the
But you're
thing I miss with my motto here is no EQs, no compression. It is literally just a plug-in insert, and that's it.
well, I kind of connected with the audio interface anyway, so I turned down the preamp of the audio interface because I think that sometimes gets a bit kind of get crunchy, like cranky and all that. That's also
Yeah.
another thing you don't want overwhelmed volumes. And if you're ever going to like make that style of music, the shoegaze music or dream pop, I think you need like crank down the volumes and try to blend because you're blending a lot like your distortions and
Yeah.
you're also adding a lot of reverb and all that. You might want to crank a few things down to get
Mm.
that balance. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's quite easy to overload the signal if you got all the effects on it already, which is usually why what I would do is sort of do different channels where you got like a dry guitar and then another channel will have reverb on it, another channel will
Yeah,
have like a flanger on it. So
yeah,
you got different channels with only one effect or no
yeah,
effect, and then it all comes
yeah.
together.
Well, it's sort of been again. I've watched Banana Lab's video of mixing something like noise pop. What he did was he did one guitar track with just delay, reverb, and some compressor to make it a bit more jangly. The second guitar track, he added a bit of like mid fuzz or overdrive distortion, whatever you're using. I've used overdrive and distortion. I've got one of those OS2 pedals by Boss. You can mix up the signal with overdrive or distortion, or you blend it with both. That's a really good way to do it. Third guitar track, he used fuzz and reverb, like heavy fuzz, like Big Muff op amp pedal. which is really good. The IC, he
Mm.
used the Wen and Cubs one. I would
I
bring it
like that.
out.
I like that Walrus Audio one with the joystick. There's
Oh
a
yeah, definitely.
I can't remember the name of it. Walrus
Oh, I know.
Audio. It's like
Yeah, I know. The melee.
yeah. So you can decide whether you want distortion after reverb and vice versa.
I thought about getting that as a, just connect
Yeah.
my model cycles actually and the model samples, one of those lot, and just use that as that.
Yeah, I was
See,
very tempted. Yeah, because it obviously saves space on the pedal board because you don't need to place a reverb after distortion, and you don't need to like rip the tape off and alternate the different sides
yeah.
of distortion. You know, you don't have to keep on swapping reverb
Hmm.
after distortion and stuff. You just got one pedal that can do it all.
Yeah.
So I do like the appeal of that. I come very close to splashing the cash on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the same for me when next time as I get, would be good to get the soft focus deluxe or the melee.
Yeah.
That would be a next step forward, but I would definitely use it for more of the sample, more of the electronic side of things. That'd be grand. Was it my mini butte, the mini freak? What I've got actually, it's would be good to connect it from there. See what it
Yeah.
sounds like.
Yeah, that
That'd
was the
be
thing
good.
that disappointed me about like I got the soft focus Catlin Bread FX40, and then
Hmm.
it was only like maybe like a month after that they released the deluxe. So it was like oh, I
Yeah,
wish if I waited a bit longer, I would have just got the deluxe one probably.
yeah.
So yeah, so now I
I
would have
think.
to spend more money if I want the deluxe one.
Well, mind you, haven't I said that? That soft focus pedals, I'm glad I brought it actually a couple of years ago. I actually put it on my first part of the pedal board alongside with the tuner compressor
Yeah.
because I actually used it for a little bit of overdrive into it because you can get that overdrive signal into that to put.
Hmm.
It may sound horrible, but if you put it on your foot, put it in the front of your pedal board along before you put your overdrive or your distortion, you can really get something out of it.
Yeah,
And I always
because
think, yeah,
it's good because unlike the FX 500, you got a mix knob, so it's dry, isn't it? For you
mm,
know, most of the levels on the knob is dry. You have to really crank it if you want the full
yeah,
wash
yeah,
of sound. It's good
yeah,
that you got a lot of scope to play with there in terms of
definitely,
dry tones, not just the full
yeah.
wash of sound.
That's why I used the reverse reverb at the end, towards the end, with along with side with the preamp and the tremolo to give it a bit more of the kick. Really, I mean, I think I'm not really afraid to use preamps like after the reverb, after the second reverb, because I put the tremolo and preamp last. Really, to I want the preamp to be louder than your fuzzes because you are getting a bit more get sort of more of a dynamic going on. Like it's not flattening; it's actually you're broadening your sound up much better. I
Yeah,
found it.
I never tried that. I never tried like a preamp kind of pedal, but it sounds interesting. Yeah.
It's really good. I personally recommend it if anyone, even a preamp simulation on a Zoom pedal or preamp your guitar amp, that makes it much different. I always found it.
I
And plus,
saw.
you are getting a bit more heavier onto it, which is a good. I've always found it quite a good thing to do. Really, I used to
Yeah.
be quite afraid with that, but since using preamps, like preamp, what's it called, preamp emulation, using the preamp section on your multi effects pedal or any form of pedal, you can really it can make a difference. I always found it. Your preamp simulations, whatever you got, yeah,
Yeah, I see. Like, if you look at the Guitar Rig photos or Guitar Geek, is it where they got
yeah.
the configurations of players' rigs and people like Ringo Death Star, they use the Marshall JMP1,
Hmm.
which is like a rack. Hold on, I can bring a picture up here. It's a rack effects.
Yeah.
It's a rack
Oh
effects,
yeah.
but preamp, like the
Oh, I see.
gold and black one. Yeah.
Oh, I've heard about it. Like, I think they're called like slave lamp. Like, my friend said they're like slave amps, which is a very interesting terminology. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, and they use it with the Elise's MIDI verb. That's what Ringo
Yeah.
Death Star do. Yeah,
Yep.
because I was watching on Instagram that Elliot Frazier did some like rig rundown, which was really interesting. He showed us every pedal. That no secrets.
Yeah, that's pretty good though. I mean, that's because I did see that with when they played live a few years ago
I'd
in the
love to
UK.
see them live. I know they played last year, but everything was Eastern dates. You know, it was all London and
Yeah,
Southeast. So there's
yeah,
nothing down my way in the Southwest.
yeah,
Yeah, wanted them to do a Bristol date at least.
yeah. I always think like I can see where the most shoegaze bands when you see those your racker units is out, not just the reverb sections, but you got the preamp sections. If you can't afford a preamp, you know,
Yeah,
a rack effect. I mean, that's why the 50G is a really good one. For example, by Zoom, that's got your preamp simulations, and I think the Shoegazer channel, Kenneth Estrada, used
yeah.
it as a multi effects of all My Bloody Valentine
He was
sound.
saying that he downloaded presets and
Hmm.
he can modify it. Yeah, it's got like a chip inside or something. You can take it out. I think it was.
Wow,
It was like a chip inside he took out and then put it back in.
something like that. Yeah.
But I did watch that video. That was really good.
Mm. I know he downloaded the effects to update him, and that's what I've done.
Updated them. Yeah. He was
Yeah.
with a friend on the video. It was like two of them presenting.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. That was. Yeah. Now he's making all these crazy guitars with
Yeah.
boxes built in, chaos pads and
Yeah.
everything.
Oh, definitely. I think. Yeah. It's also.
Synthesizer.
Yeah. It's also like something like almost like a David Lynch thing going on. Dedication for David Lynch.
Yeah, rest in
Big
peace.
fan of, yeah, big
Mm.
fan of his films like Eraserhead, Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks,
Twin
especially.
Peaks,
Yeah,
famous one. Yeah.
mm,
I was
really
thinking
good
about
to watch.
thinking hopefully they look after Greg Araki as well. I
Oh
mean,
man,
he's the guy, isn't he? Greg Araki is the guy who uses shoegaze soundtracks.
oh yeah, he's
The film
done some good films.
Mysterious
Nowhere,
Skin and Nowhere and
Degeneration,
yeah.
Degeneration. I got a couple of them actually in my film collection. Actually, they're really
So
something. They are Greg Araki. Pretty cool.
didn't he do Lost in Translation as well?
I do believe so.
Yeah,
I actually do have the film actually, as well as the soundtrack
because
on
that's
vinyl on the LP.
I remember Kenneth saying that's how he found out about shoegaze when Sometimes by
Mhm.
MBV kicked in the
Oh, definitely.
taxi going over the bridge in Tokyo.
Oh, definitely. I think the reason why I think my main reason why I found out shoegaze is because I think a lecturer from my college years recommended me to listen to My Bloody Valentine as my indie kind of thing. Because I've always been quite into a lot of indie stuff, but since he recommended me MBV, and this is when I was listening to Nirvana and Sonic Youth at that time. He recommended me to go and listen to real like MBV and see what you think. And I thought, first time I thought this is weird, but once I got into it, I started to get into that style of music. Like then it went to Ride and Swear Driver and all that. I think that was my starting point of shoegaze music, really. MBV and
Cool.
a lot of those free bands. And then Slowdive came a little later on for me.
Yeah, we
Again,
were talking about how we got into shoegaze music.
yes, and Kenneth was saying he got into it because of Lost in Translation, which was a great film, definitely amazing. Best film, probably in my best film collection, actually, to be honest with you. So that's really, I really like that film a lot. It's beautiful movie to watch. I think it's a very kind of emotional film, really. I
Hmm.
think that's how we got into shoegaze. I think for me, it was a college tutor actually got me into shoegaze. Really, mainly My Bloody Valentine. That was the starting point of it all, and I think that was definitely the main point of shoegaze. I think I've listened to probably some shoegaze influence bands like the first two albums of Black Rebel Motorcycle Club.
Hmm.
If you listen to those first two albums, self-titled and Take Them on Your Own, great albums influenced by bands like Spacemen 3, with My Bloody Valentine, with the excellence of the garage rock scene of the Stooges. I definitely recommend these first two albums of Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. That's definitely a starting point, really,
Hmm.
for shoegaze music, in my opinion.
Yeah, like genre adjacent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to fact check myself actually because Lost in Translation is it wasn't Greg Araki like I thought it was. It's
No.
Sofia Coppola. I don't know if I'm
Oh,
pronouncing it right, but Sofia Coppola or
okay.
Coppola.
Have a look.
So yeah,
Yes,
just
Polar
had to
Polar.
fact check myself there. Yeah, there it is.
That's it's a great
Nice.
film. It's beautiful. Definitely, the soundtrack's really good. Actually, it's not just all shoegaze. There's got some good stuff on there, like Phoenix. They also got
The
Death in
Jesus and the
Vegas.
Mary Chain are on there as
Yeah,
well, aren't they? I think.
Death in Vegas as well.
Oh yeah, which is the
Um,
Revolver Man, isn't it? Matt
mhm.
Flint.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
that was his band after
Yep. After a
Revolver.
revolver.
Mm.
I know Deep Cut. I know he has. I know I don't know if he's still playing his band Deep Cut. It's
Mm.
another band of his.
I think they
Yeah.
actually recently reformed, actually, albeit yeah, Revolver did, but
Yeah. I heard.
without some member.
Yeah, I heard about that. They're reforming at some. Things like it.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. Like I haven't one band I have not reformed yet is Catherine Will. I don't know if that's
Yeah, they keep on teasing as well, but all it ends up being is a stupid vinyl release,
yeah.
or a vinyl re-release, I should say. Yeah,
Yeah.
they get
I
everybody
think I've never
excited
seen
on
that.
their socials, and then it just ends up being a vinyl re-release.
I like to see the Charlotte. I like to see Simon Scott and
Yeah,
reform the Charlottes. That would be.
I really like that Liar song, which is on that Still in a Dream compilation,
I
which
actually got.
I've been listening
Sorry.
to that comp a hell of a lot
Mhm.
recently. Just
Yeah,
remembering how good it is.
I actually got.
2016.
I actually got a couple of their finals actually that a friend sold. Sold me a few of his shoegaze finals back in probably 9 years ago, and I got the Charlotte's first album. And months later, I brought their second album. Actually, I think it was a reissue. That wasn't too bad. It was pretty like about 11 quid. It was
Mm,
on LP. It's not so bad.
pretty good
It's in my
for a
record
band.
collection on that one. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I do like the Charlottes. I feel they were definitely a good band that Simon Scott was in. It was their precursor to Slowdive in many ways. It was like post C86
Mm.
meets
They're
proto
a
shoegaze.
lot more punky though, weren't they? I would say.
Mhm. Oh,
Um,
definitely. They had that C86 influence.
mm.
Yeah, that kind of indie jangly, almost like that, I think. So that's definitely something for anyone who likes that kind of style of music, combining with the elements of that C86 style.
Yeah, I'm just
That's
gonna
pretty
get one item a sec. I'll be back.
cool.
6. Hold on, I just got another
Hmm.
tab that just came up. Um, yeah, speaking of C86, I recently bought this from Waterstones,
Oh wow,
actual book
nice,
about it. Yeah,
nice.
so I look forward to digging
Yeah,
into it. I haven't really only read like the first 2 pages. It seems quite
wow,
good though. Yeah, Eternal as well.
nice.
Christian Saville, another member
Yeah,
of Slowdive. He had a band, a precursor called Eternal, I think. Yeah,
yeah. I think when they were on Sarah Records, wasn't
Sarah. Yeah,
yeah? When they were on Sarah,
based in Bristol. Yeah.
they actually got Sarah Records documentary actually on their on the DVD. Actually, I actually like that film. Actually, it's really good documentary.
No,
Really good stuff.
I haven't watched that.
It's really
No.
good. I got it probably about a few years. Probably I don't know when I brought it, but it's probably about a few years ago. Maybe it's a really good one. My Secret World talks
Hmm.
about the Sarah bands, the 14 Ice Bears definitely, and Secret Shine.
Yeah, I was
It's
about to
got
say Secret Shine. I thought they were on there. Yeah,
yeah,
because they were at the
yeah,
Shoegaze All Day, weren't they? I think
mhm.
couple of years ago.
Yep, that's correct. That was a really good night. I'll show you something else. Got something that I'm on about without dropping books.
Looks like a Shoegaze album cover now. Your screen. It's got that blurriness and the
Yeah.
Illusionary effect.
Okay, this is the book that I've been on about for a long time. For anyone's,
Yeah.
Our Band Could Be Your Life, the starting point of indie music in general. Like, this is more involved in the US indie scene. You have
Yeah.
bands like Mudhoney, Fugazi, Big Black, Butthole Service, Sonic Youth, Huskadoo, Dinosaur Jr. When you were talking about ranting on about the spirit of indie music, I think this book came up.
Yeah, I
Definitely
remember
wrote this a long time ago.
you commented it. You put it in a comment on one of my videos about that book. Yeah.
It's a really good book. I recommend it. It's if you want to get into that spirit of indie music, it's not indie in the UK, but it's still
Yeah.
a good book. It's really kind of
Yeah.
started from the hardcore punk era.
Yeah, I've got something of a similar ilk. I'm just gonna get
Yeah.
that as well.
Yep.
Drum roll. Big suspense. Drum roll. So yeah, SST book.
Nice.
SST.
Over at Rock Sucks.
Yeah, I mean this is pretty much on
SST
the same kind of thing as what you were saying. Definitely.
It's got early. I mean, it's good to see Roland. I bet it's got Rollins performing with Black Flag. I mean, Henry Rollins. He's actually.
Yeah.
If you ever come across his spoken word stuff, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's
My
funny.
War album's actually a big. One of my favorite albums. Actually, My War. Definitely much better than their first album, Damage. But My War is a little bit more sludgier. Precursor to the grunge music scene. So Rollins grew his hair very long at that time. You know, he started with skinhead or bald, and then I think he grew it all out. I mean, there's some good good bands on that SST label. I mean, you got besides Black Flag and Husker Du, you got the Meat Puppets on there.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain's one of Kirk's favorites, actually.
Yeah. Minutemen, Sonic Youth, Dinosaur Jr.
Yeah.
Husker Du, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Bad Brains. Bad Brains, another one. Yeah, it's really good. Was it Saturn Trust as well? They get a lot of mention in this. Yeah, so that hardcore, post-hardcore thing.
Yeah. I think Discord Records is a good label as well. Discord, they got some good stuff on there. I mean, like from the likes of Fugazi to Jawbox and all that. I mean, DC, the post-hardcore scene in DC. I mean, you had Rites of Spring and another favorite of Kurt Cobain, and an album that I also own actually, which I enjoy listening to time and time again. Jawbox, also Shudder to Think, which they actually toured with the Smashing Pumpkins back in the early 90s along. I think they toured with Swervedrive, like played alongside with Swervedriver at some stage.
Yeah, that makes sense because I know that the Pumpkins were on tour with the Swervedriver guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. Anyway, speaking of Smashing Pumpkins and their So Many Strings album.
Yeah, the op amp muff.
Oh my god, it's definitely one of my favorite Big Muff pedals I've used. It's good because it's really good that you have reissued stuff like this. Actually, I mean, the op amp originally was like almost like the original Big Muff, like you saw in the 2000s, but the knobs are quite different. But they got that op amp on top of it. It's weird. The switches on top of it.
Yeah, I got my pedal collection next to me as well. I just got the standard one, the nano Big Muff. I don't know. I don't know what happened to the volume knob. Just I don't know. Kicked about too much, probably.
You can always buy some.
It caused an issue. Remember, I was playing live and stuff, and I couldn't. I think I came up with some like bit of ingenuity by I taped the knob or something on, but I had to like put it to a certain position, so I could never move it because I taped it. So
you can always get someone that knows how to do pedals and find the spare knob for it, and they can get it all fixed up for you and all that. There's always like people who make pedals and all that. That's what I would have done in my opinion. But yep, this is a favorite of mine. This is the build.
It is. The
It's
FX40,
I
yeah.
think it's definitely one of my favorites. It's good when you put it in the front of your rack unit or your effects pedal loops. It's really, oh man.
And that's what it's based on. The
Yep.
Yamaha FX500s. It's really cool. We got the old and new products alongside each other
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's really different when you play them together. It's like compatible.
Did
It's
you
kind of
did you
weird.
watch my video where I did like an A/B kind of comparison?
Yes.
I did the two products, played them,
Hmm.
didn't I? With the into the
So,
Roland Jazz Chorus,
yep.
and yeah, it wasn't
They,
much difference. It was the
uh,
FX40 really held up to it and even expanded on it in some areas.
yeah. I think it's almost like
Well,
a
it's
lot of
more
people say
clean. I found it more like the Catlin Bread FX40 was more like controllable. It was not so much dirty noise to it. You could actually,
I
it was
almost
like
found it less gothic.
limited. Yeah.
Well, the effects patch 40 on the FX 500 is more gothic, while FX 40 by Catlenbrag has more of an ambient kind of post rock style.
I think the
Yeah,
FX500
but
has
yeah.
more. The old FX500 has more artifacts,
Hmm.
meaning when you play, it's noisy artifacts. Like every time I plug the wire in, it crackles. There's all these
Hmm.
kind of noisy artifacts with it. But the
Yeah,
FX40 eliminates all of those extra
yeah,
noises that you don't really want.
yeah. Also, you can really combine it with different pedals. Like I got the Keeley Parallax. That's a really good pedal for. You got your realizer part, the loomer part, the reverb. Well, you got the delays of the cavern. If you pair them two up together, or you can really get something going on. I tell you, it's really beautiful.
That's cool. Yeah.
Mostly, I like the reverse section. That's if you don't want the loomer part, or if you don't want the loomer, or you want to get the parallax instead. It's really good.
So that's just a reverb, is it, that one?
So reverb delay by Keeley. It's made from the um originally it was from the Lumas, the reverb side of the Luma, and you got the delay side of the Caverns
Oh yeah.
delay pedal. It's
Mm.
really good. A lot of people didn't really. I think a lot of people criticized it, but I always enjoyed it. I find it much better than the Luma, in my opinion, because it's got, both delay and reverb together, and if you blend it all in together, it actually sounds swell, very sweet. So that's
Yeah,
what I've
really
been
cool.
using
Yeah.
a lot.
That's what Ride said in like a reverb.com interview. They said that everyone thinks it's about reverb, but actually shoegaze is mostly about delay actually.
Mhm.
Delay, they said delay is more important than reverb even.
I think vibratos also has a. I think people don't really usually talk about this in shoegaze music. I think vibrato is a really good one.
Yeah.
I always found pitch vibratos are so really unique. They're choruses, in my opinion, because they tend to be a bit more almost like the real deal for shoegaze music, especially when you use the reverse reverb patch on there, switch on there, combining. And it's actually more of a digital reverse delay, actually. But if you turn the depth up on the parallax, you kind of really get something really like a pitch vibrato,
Yeah.
pitch shifting sound.
Really cool. Yeah, I mean, I use the on the Roland Jazz Chorus, it's built in. There's a vibrato and chorus section built in on the effects loop. So I use that. Recently acquired a foot switch pedal so I can turn it on and off. So I got control over it during gigs. But yeah, coming back to the parallax effect,
Yeah.
it's a bit like this pedal I've got, which is the Wampler, the Doctor delay.
Oh yeah.
It looks very similar, it's got the same amount of knobs on it there, probably
Yeah.
the same kind of functions. And this was all over the first Breather EP.
Mm.
All the delay sections are used this. Yeah, very good pedal. You got this like this bit in the middle here. You can just like click through it, and that goes through these different settings here.
Wow.
Um,
Cool.
and then you got this kind of the repeat knob. If you turn it to past where this like triangle is, where that marker is, if if
Yeah.
if you go past that, exceed that, then it goes into
Yeah.
oscillation, and you just get this like
Wow.
whirlwind, like the start of like MBV's noise section, sort of jet engine drone
Nice.
just kicking in. Very
Wow.
cool. It's like a
Pretty
little
cool.
pre-delay sort of thing, so it comes in very gradually. Yeah, like slow attack kind of thing.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
I think you can't. I think a lot of people can say reverb's the best thing, but I think another way to look at it, if you ever use the Digifurb, recently brought is I actually used the gated reverb section on it. It's much better than the reverse section. I think
mm,
using gated reverb is a very similar thing to the reverse section because but it's really good for drum beats if like you listen to Phil Collins work or not to
yeah,
brag on about Phil Collins. The drum beat on that is very gated reverb,
yeah. That
and if
was
you use it
the
on
whole
guitar,
'80s thing. Yeah.
yeah, but you can also use it for guitars, and you also can use it for shoegaze music, really,
Mm,
especially with the guitars. Then if you don't have a reverse reverb unit, the gated unit is also quite similar
yeah.
because
Yeah, what were you gonna say then? Sounded like you were gonna continue.
I was just going to say the gated reverb. It's almost like a similarity to a reverse reverb, but it does have that ghostly effects. But if you plug it in with a guitar and a few effects, distortion pedals, you kind of really almost got that my bloody Valentine sound.
Yeah,
I think if you
about to say, I think Shields did use lots of gates.
hmm
That's what I've
even
heard
like
anyway from sources.
yeah, even when I found out when I first got it when I got the first soft focus, I actually turned down use this as almost like a gated reverb too. Like if you turn down the reverbs, uh, get a little bit of modulation or turn down your synth, you almost got yourself a gated reverb, kind of something like My Bloody Valentine. If you hear those records, in my opinion.
The gates are. I mean, I used a stock plugin on Presona Studio One,
hmm
so I used it on like a vocal, like a female vocal, like which is like very angelic, and because it had lots
Wow.
of reverb on it, and I used it to kind of repeat itself without sounding unnatural. That's what the gate
hmm
can do. You can actually make it repeat. So it's sort of like an envelope kind of
Yeah.
filter in a
Playing with
way,
reverb, I
because you
think.
can sort of like make sure that there's a pre-delay and a
hmm
slow attack, like fast release. So
Yeah.
yeah, instead of just like chopping regions up in your door, I think the gates can be a more natural way of repeating, like looping something, because it
Yeah.
will have a kind of attack to it, the transients there, and
I
all
think
that
what
kind.
Kevin Chill was mentioning was like a photocopier of the same guitar droning. It's like a photocopy of a tape. I think
Yeah,
he mentioned that on the guitar riff documentary on BBC back in the day when they were talking about the history of guitar music and the effects that brought into it.
the joy of the
Joy of
guitar,
the riff.
the
Yeah.
joy of the guitar riff. Yeah,
Yes. That's
quite a famous video on YouTube. Yeah, it's
I
just him.
watched that.
I like
Remember that.
I love all the quotes in that video, and especially the journalist. He says he describes Loveless as being it's like a mermaid falling into a black hole or something.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
that was that guy who said
that
that.
cracked
Like,
me
going
up.
to a black hole. Yeah, I think Butch Vig said it. It was like using this whammy bar.
Yeah, but he said it
Can't-
wrong, like using his wangy bar.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Whammy.
for some
Well,
reason
whammy.
he called it a wangy. Like
Yeah.
you can tell he's a drummer because he didn't get
Yeah.
the terminology quite right.
Well, he got the technology for the Siamese Dream album. I gotta give him credit, and he did produce quite some good stuff as well as Garbage bands like Garbage and all that. Since drummer for Garbage and
I do feel like Curve get really overlooked because they were like
Mhm.
they were like a more kind of
Yeah,
non-mainstream version
yeah,
precursor of Garbage,
yeah.
and
They were kind of
people
like
will
that.
remember Garbage but not
Yeah,
Curve, unfortunately.
yeah. But a lot of people seem to latch on with Garbage, but that's where Curb were the paveway for those bands like Garbage and all that, and because
Yeah,
they took it to mainstream heights really. But Curve gets so overlooked, but they did. they did came back for a while actually, but they were doing more electronic music back in the late 90s though.
Yeah,
Because they
I did hear that Come Clean album or whatever it's called, and it's just more like big beat, isn't it? Like
yeah.
Prodigy, Chemical Brothers kind of thing.
Mhm.
So it's not, yeah, I'm not quite into that side of their sound.
Yeah.
I mean, I do prefer it when they got the guitars in there for some reason,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
you know the sequences and stuff.
Wow.
Um, but I think the Gift album was there like that was a return to form in a way. That was a
Hmm.
return to their old sound, and Kevin Shields plays on 2 tracks. Because
Wow.
I interviewed Dean Garcia. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. I saw that. I think I saw that
Well,
a little
it
bit.
was a bit awkward actually because he didn't want
Mhm.
his face to be shown. So it was like
Yeah.
didn't have anything to see really.
Yeah.
But listening, he made some very good points. Told some really cool stories.
Yeah.
Especially his interpretation of Kevin Shields is really cool. Like the way he was
Hmm.
describing how Kevin like he sees the waveforms instead of
Yeah.
seeing like theory and notes. Kevin
Yeah.
kind of just he sees the waveforms
Yeah.
and really he was really peculiar and particular about stuff. And
Yeah, he was really. I think he didn't realize what he was creating at the time while he was forming. Because My Bloody Valentine went from. They started as a goth band actually, like the
mm.
Cramps and all that. But I think they sort of experiment for a little while and trying to find their own sound. But not in the early days. They were just started as a goth band, and they sort of jumped to
So
the
the twee
the Jesus,
C86 kind of
yeah,
thing, and
the Jesus and Mary Chain kind of style. And then I think they were trying to do, I think they were still just experimenting with their sound and finding their own sound.
yeah, I think
Luckily, sorry,
you carry on. It's good.
luckily Alan McGee did sign them when they would, I think, probably
Yeah,
in
even
right
though
place at
he
the right time
rejected them
again.
the first time, didn't he? I heard
Hmm.
that story. I think it was
Yeah,
actually like sort of Dick Green. It's probably like Dick Green, the kind of second in command guy who
yeah,
liked them a bit more. I think, and
yeah,
that's why I think instead of just Alan McGee writing all these books, it'd be nice to hear from the other guys at Creation. You know, the other guys
mhm,
who probably appreciated shoegaze a bit more. Like I'm sure Dick Green was more of a champion of it than McGee was.
yeah. I
And
think someone,
Ivor Watts Russell from 4AD as well. I would
mhm,
love for him to write a book.
yeah,
Jeff Travis as well. I'm not even sure if he's written one. The rough trade guy.
yeah. I think a lot of people have talked about MBV as their influences. I think First and More might, I mean, people like First and More talked about probably talked about MBV, and not to mention Deb Gooch. Deb Goon is the bassist for the First and More band actually,
Yeah.
and not to mention, oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
this other guy.
another one I've yet to read.
Yeah, I actually got one of their Sonic Youth books on me actually, but I haven't really read it in years. It's a really good book to read. It's a really good one. I think it is the same one. I think it's a reissue.
The Velvet Underground book as well.
Nice.
If you really want to get to the roots of all this stuff, I mean, you got to
Yeah.
start here, really.
Yeah, Velvet Underground. A lot of the they
Yeah,
were the band. I think they kind of started a lot of the indie music scene because
yeah,
but they were doing something different than the psychedelic bands of that time, like Cream, like another band that sort of crops to mind on the same scene as the Velvet Underground, Silver Apples. Silver
yeah.
Apples are really good. They were so, I think, they were so different than other bands that came into the scene for a time. I mean, they were doing more electronic music in the 60s. This is
Mm.
before, like, a lot of the 70s krautrock stuff
Before
and
Kraftwerk. Yeah.
krautrock or Kant, Neu,
Mm.
Faust, a lot of those German groups, as well as the kind of the new wave stuff as well. That kind of paved the way for a lot of the new wave stuff as well as Suicide, a lot of those bands. Anyway, I'm gonna have to head off now, but it's really nice talking to you, Sam.
Yeah, you too, mate. I was going to show a couple more pedals though,
Yeah,
if that's okay. My craziest pedal is probably this by Ranger Effects.
I was at that liquid stuff.
Yeah,
You
the
put your
liquid analyzer.
oh wow, you put your like liquid or something like that, or some. I put a cup of tea, a little bit of flavour in lemon ginger tea or something like that. That'd be grand.
Yeah, the problem is that now the lid's stuck because I didn't wash it afterwards. So the beer is it stained it and it's stuck it together basically because I didn't
Yeah.
wash it. So that's just my
Wow.
poor maintenance.
I
But
think I'll do that with a cup of tea instead.
yeah, basically
Cup
for
of
the people who have never seen this before, I did make a video about it a few years ago.
yeah.
But for you
Yeah.
who still don't know, it's called the mini bar, and basically you can put it any kind of liquid in there, any drink, and basically the darker the liquid, I think that affects the tone, and
Mm,
the stronger alcoholic content, the stronger the volume is of the
yeah.
alcohol, the more gain you can get on the overdrive.
I
So
want to try it with a
you
soft drink,
you're
maybe.
literally sculpting an overdrive tone just using drink, which is pretty insane.
I think I could. I think I could use herbal remedies. See what it comes like. That'd be grand.
Yeah,
Anyway,
maybe unleaded petrol would be really interesting, wouldn't it?
yeah, probably
Putting
be a bit bad. Probably be a bit horrible, but that'd be
probably
it.
probably start a fire or something.
No, that would mess your equipment up. That would mess up the pedal, and not to mention the components wouldn't really
Mm.
function that well. Anyway,
Um, oh yeah, a couple more bits just to go with the. So I got the Volca series here. So I got the synth. That's the mixer that goes in the middle.
nice,
So I'm going to start playing around with this.
cool.
Um, Sort of new territory for me, really. I want
Cool.
to, like
Interesting.
you, I was kind of inspired by you, really, to get more into the electronic side of things. Plus, my
Oh, that's cool.
DBS course as well is quite
Nice.
encouraging as well. So, because we're doing wavetable synthesis at the moment,
Mm,
that's another kind of aspect of music I'm discovering.
yeah,
And the Korg Volca Beats
yeah,
that goes the other side of the mixer, the Volca mixer. So,
yeah. It's
all right,
always also like was mentioned about the Euroracks earlier on about the model cycles and the samples. They're really good electronic gear to use, I think. And on that note, and to end the note, it was really nice to talk to you online. It's really grand, and
sure.
hopefully do it again soon. Last few pedals before we head.
Yeah, just
Nice.
while as we were on the subject of Catlin bread earlier in the conversation, I've got the Discman and the Octopussy. So the
Wow.
Discman, this is a glitch delay,
Yep.
although it doesn't actually work properly at the moment because it doesn't actually get unpredictable. But the
Yep.
latch kind of broke on it or something. But it's
Yep.
basically like it kind of randomizes the type of delay you get. You never know
Yep.
what's coming. And then the
Mm-hmm.
Octopussy is just a Hendrix kind of octave delay.
Octave. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
Cool.
I think I've seen it on the
That's
board of like Slow Crush, like bands like that might
nice.
use it. They got a new album out actually, Slow Crush, so
Well, I
keep
need
your
to.
ears peeled for that.
I need to get into. I need to get back into Slow Crush. I've been kind of a bit little disconnected with a lot of newer music at the moment, except for a band called Half Happy. They're actually kind of on my radar at the moment.
Okay.
There's another band I would like to see, a band from Cardiff called Half Happy. They're a great band, kind of one of the newer bands that's been on the scene for the last couple of years, actually. Kind of combining just jangly pop meets dream pop, I think. Pretty good band.
Yeah, and my shout out would be to Marseille, who I really like the sound of. They
Cool.
got a new single called History came out yesterday, and I think that's their best tune so far.
Nice. Well, so I
Well,
just want to say it's nice talking to you,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Battery's about to go head low.
Thank
But
you very much, Matt, for joining me, and I'll catch you soon.
catch you
Cheers,
soon, man.
buddy.
Bye.
Cheers, buddy. Talk again. Bye.